This audio fanfic is rated K+, which is the same as a movie rating of PG, parental guidance recommended. This should be suitable for older children and adults. For more information on what the rating means, please go to www.esrb.com.
The icy winds drive needles of hail into my face, and the sky roars with thunder and soaks me with its rain of bitter tears. But I cannot, will not stop running. With bleeding feet, a leaden soul, and a blazing jewel on a chain about my throat, I race desperately on towards the sea. High on a cliff I halt, staring down into the water through a mist of salty spume. The sea is boiling in the wrath of this storm. No vessel could survive in it. But I have no choice. The Silmaril must remain out of the hands of Fena's sons, at any cost. I stand for a while in silence, letting the cold rain cleanse my face of its hot tears. I draw in one slow, deep breath, then a second, then a third. I hold the last and listen to my heart counting its beats. 1, 2, 3. I take one step forward and plunge into the waves. The shock of the impact, coupled with the sudden numbing chill of the ocean, forces the breath from me. I am tossed high on the crest of a great iron-grey wave, then pushed violently under again. I try to swim, but the weight of the Silmaril and my waterlogged clothing drags me down and ever down into an airless void. My thoughts are a deafening cacophony of fears. My sons, my Elrond and Elros, who will care for them now? I can only pray that they will be safe from harm. What has become of them? What has become of Earendil? Earendil, our children are alone. You must be the one to watch over them now, wherever you are. You and our sons are the world to me. I will always love you. Namarie, my beloved, remember me. These thoughts are the last ones that I hear. The final bubbles of my breath escape my lips. My faltering heart succumbs to utter stillness and silence. Softer than silk, darker than night, deeper than sleep. Blackness closes in around me. I know that something is not right even before I open my eyes. I am no longer chilled or drenched to the bone. I feel no pain or anything else. I look up, finding myself in a warm, grey place full of mist, where I slowly meet the gaze of the tall, darkly clad figure who stands before me. I know immediately who this stranger is, and I bow reverently and whisper his name. Lord Mandos. Mandos nods once, his impassive eyes softening in compassion. He bends and lifts me to my feet, and speaks in a voice like the low, thrumming music of a cello.
Elwing, daughter of Dior,
He begins.
it is not your time to pass into my halls. You must go back among the living.
I hesitate, but before I can think of a way to reply, another figure comes into sight beside the Keeper of the Dead. This newcomer is white-haired, and clad in strained raiment like fish's scales. I bow to him, and he grasps both of my hands tightly in his own.
"Come with me,"
says Ulmo, and suddenly we begin to rise into the air. But is it truly air if I am no more than fear? Drifting swiftly upward, out of the realm of the dead, back to the great sea and up from the depths, and I am now aware that I am changing. My whole body tingles and itches. I am growing smaller, my neck seems to be lengthening, and my lips harden and elongate. I cannot sense my hands, for my arms no longer feel like arms. They thrash sluggishly at the water until a great force, like a pair of strong hands, thrusts me above the surface. I am carried upward by a gust of warm wind and stare in awe at what greets me. The night sky is calm and star-strewn. The sea is clear and tranquil. I spy a reflection in the rippling surface and cannot help but start in shock. The reflection is clearly mine, yet it cannot be. Do I truly have wings? I stare at my own body, finding to my surprise that I was indeed correct. I have become a swan. My feathers are not pure white, my wide wings are tipped with silver. Bending my long, slender neck to lower my head, I see the Silmaril, still clasped around my throat upon its chain. As I hover in the air, held aloft by nothing but Manwe's winds, a sweet female voice whispers to me, from the very night around me.
Go, find your husband. He must know that you are safe.
I swivel my head this way and that, scanning the shadowy ocean for even a glimpse of Earendil's silver ship. I see it. A great distance from me, a glinting speck in the blackness. I know that it is Vingelot. Immediately I strike out towards it, clumsily flapping my new wings. The wind that is holding me airborne now drives me forward with such ferocity that I must spread my wings and use them to slow down. Streaking down towards my husband's vessel, I brake sharply to keep from crashing. Brown-haired elven mariner is at the tiller. He is not Earendil, as I had so fervently hoped. But he turns, gasps when he sees me. Abandoning the wheel, the Ellen rushes to catch me as I stagger through the air, my strength ebbing. The mariner's eyes are wide with shock, and he cries out urgently to others I cannot see. Voices arise in reply from far off, and 3 sets of footsteps pound across the deck. Turning my head, I see that Earendil is racing towards me, followed by 2 other mariners. All of their faces are ashen with fright.
What is it, Falathar?
One of the unfamiliar figures asks. The one holding me replies in obvious confusion.
It is a swan. I did not know how or why it came here. It was flying at such speed. I am surprised it is alive.
Look at what it wears!
Cries the second of my husband's companions.
A Silmaril! So they were not all lost.
Let me see it.
Earendil demands, his voice urgent. Falathar hands me gently to my husband, and Earendil stares down at me in wonder. I try to speak his name, but all that emerges from my beak is a low, warbling cry. I weakly lift a wing to touch his face, then shudder and surrender to sleep. When I awaken, I am immediately aware of another change. I have returned to my elven form. I am somewhere inside the Vingelot, lying in a bed beside Earendil. He is still asleep, but he soon stirs and sees me. For a moment we are both silent, and then he speaks.
Elwing,
He breathes, a smile lighting his face.
I thought... the sons of Feanor.
I gently shake my head. I escaped from them. I explain to him all that has happened since the Fëanorian siege, our twin sons' captivity and my death, resurrection, and first flight. He nods in understanding and sorrow.
So Sirion has fallen,
My husband murmurs.
and our sons are captive. But what will happen to them?
His eyes are urgent, pleading, almost hopeless. I do not know, I answer, weeping with him. They may be alive, but they could have been... I cannot bring myself to pronounce killed. Earendil takes me gently into his arms, and together we mourn the unknown fate of our sons. But at last no more tears can be shed. What can we do? I ask. Is there any hope? Earendil's voice is hollow.
No, not for Sirion. But perhaps for others. I must go to Valinor with all speed. The Valar may be the only ones able to aid us now.
I will come with you, I say at once, but he cuts me off with a shake of his head.
Only one may set foot in that realm,
He tells me.
The Valar will be angry if this is not so. You must wait for me.
I falter, knowing that he is right. Very well. But it may take weeks to reach Aman, and by then it could be too late. Take this, I urge him, pulling the Silmaril's chain from my neck. Its power may help you. Earendil nods.
I will set it in a circlet on my brow, so that its power may be seen from afar.
This he does, and he stands tall and proud at the wheel of the ship. I am ever at his side as the wind and waves drive us westwards. After what seems to be no more than a few hours, we behold the harbour of Aqualondi, on the eastern shore of Oman.
Wait for me.
He bids me as he makes to disembark. I nod and remain where I am for a moment, but soon a great longing overcomes me, and I rush after him into the shallows of the sea.
Elwing,
Earendil cries, turning.
I must tread this path alone.
I want to be with you, I reply.
And I with you.
He says more gently, kissing my lips.
But for now we must part. For your sake I will try not to be away for too long a time.